Wow, I actually found it. Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, so this is the Cape Town, etc. So this is a newspaper article. There are several newspapers that covered this, but this is just one of them that I found. Okay, so an entire Cape Town school was stolen brick by brick. Alright, let's go over this. How do you steal an entire school? The famous quote by Desmond Tutu springs to mind. There is only one way to eat an elephant, a bite at a time. And while stealing an entire school is not something one should aspire to one small step at a time, but it does seem like an impossible mission. But that's exactly what happened to the Eitzig Secondary School in Cape Town. So the school was forced to shut its doors to learners in 2019 after it be declared, structurally unsafe and plagued by gangsterism and vandalism. So Cape Town has a bit of a problem with gangs. But anyways, so the Department of Education closed them, following an inspection. With the 6 months of the school closing, the school was reduced to its foundations. So school closes, okay, 2019. It needs to be, revamped and, worked out, get all the gangsterism out, get the structure to be structurally sound again, and then, going to get reopened up to the students. But 6 months later, the entire building's gone. And schools tend to have multiple buildings, okay? It was just poof. Thieves stole and sold the entire school, brick by brick, from the building materials to the plumbing and the electrics to the furniture it housed. Absolute insanity. Everything and anything that made up the school was torn down and sold. The community believes that drug addicts are responsible for the theft to feed their addiction. Here are the images of Eitzig Secondary School a few years apart from a complete building to a now vacant piece of land. So here you can see there's an entire building over there. There's an entire, okay, this is the double-story complexes they got here. So it looks like they got 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 different buildings. I built this brick by brick. Not Cape Town, yep. So it looks like they've got multiple buildings here. Those might be other buildings in the property, but I'm not sure. But there's at least like 4 buildings here, and one single story. These are probably like these prefab classrooms that you generally seem to have just outside the main school building. And then we got a double-story building here, another one over there. Okay, here's another picture. So this is solid brick, by the way. So this is not like, the fake American walls. This is solid brick. The coloring is pretty poor, but this is a solid brick house. Damn, Romania's competition with an essay. Romania got nothing on South Africa, dude. I know a Romanian guy who's actually in my Discord, by the way, now a server. His name's Killer, so he's from Romania. I've told that guy straight up, he got nothing on us. So that's what it looked like, and now this is what it looks like now. We had this, double story, several buildings. Now we have this. Poof. Gone. Completely disappeared, like the chances of my chat having a girlfriend. Absolute zero. Every single brick, copper wire, floor tile, electronic, plumbing, the whole works, boom. Imagine coming to school after the holidays and seeing the entire school complex razed to the ground. Spawn point was removed. True. Ouch. This is like going to your base in Minecraft and finding it looking just like the super flat world of just dirt blocks. Hold on. As reported in the Daily Mail, the school used to boast a grand entrance and reception area, 5 classroom blocks, and 2 toilet areas. So there we can see 1, 2, 3. There's probably 4 and 5 here. So this was 5 buildings in this complex. Okay, you can actually see one over there. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think this will be the 5th one over here. And there's the 5th one there. And so 5 entire buildings, as well as the 2 toilet areas, entirely gone. This is crazy. They stole the toilet. You can't even have a dump in peace. A former caretaker who spoke to the Daily Mail on condition of the anonymity said that pupils have become scared and there was just constant vandalism. You don't say. The school became run down. In the end, it was closed down altogether. So this is where they would normally come and, make repairs and refurbish it. I do not joke when I say the day after it was closed, the thieves moved in and stole the school big bright brick and window by window until it was all gone. Literally the next day. They used our methods to steal the toilets. What happens there in Russia? So literally it closes in June, like July 1st. July 2nd, they're stealing it. School toilets can't. Yep. Nice pun, by the way. There's nothing left except concrete floors where the buildings used to be, and now it's just a derelict open space where bad people hang out. They literally cleaned house. This is like when you go to Skyrim and you just find a random city like Morgoth or whatever, and you just clean out the entire temple. But this time you take the temple with you. The public is urged to report any suspicious activity in and around the school, in and around where the school was, to the SAPS, South African Police Services, or Safe Schools hotline immediately. Please do not underestimate your ability to assist the police to interrupt, investigate, and apprehend the perpetrators of these criminal actions by being the eyes and ears on the ground. Even the smallest piece of information is key. And there's a bunch of stuff here. So as you guys can see, stuff happens here. Thieves near toilets be like, damn, they stole like 5 houses worth. And it happened in a couple of days. And you know what's worse? Is that they sold these bricks, by the way. They didn't just take them because, you know, why not? They sell these bricks to construction companies, and then the construction companies get paid to build more schools, which they then steal again. That's how corrupt we are. We have circles of corruption where everybody's in on it, and nobody's safe. I assume the police is a cosmetic there. Pretty much. We've got a couple of obese, African ladies sitting in office chairs, 2 sizes too small, busy munching on KFC, and that's pretty much our police force. Our most reliable form of security is actually private companies. Like, if you call the police, they'll be there in 25 minutes after they've gotten their 21-piece KFC bucket, and then if they decide to investigate, they'll pop by your house. They'll be there, take a couple of questions, they'll take your case, and they'll put it in the cold case file, and you never hear from them again. If you have a private security company, you call them, they're there within 60 seconds, guns blazing. It's like calling the Americans for backup. They send in the big guns. So that is why, private security companies are really important down here, and that's why they make a lot of money. And that is why selling firearms in South Africa makes a lot of money, because a very big need, especially for security companies, to buy them to be able to protect the guys, because the state-owned police sucks. Americans should consider hiring South Africans instead of Hispanic people. Dude, if you ever have any problems with any country, take a plane full of like 500 South Africans, and hopefully your plane can get to the destination before they strip it for parts. And just land it dead smack in the country that you don't have a problem with, and within 24 hours the entire country will be stolen. No joke. Like, can you imagine, in a hypothetical scenario where Russia decides to invade Ukraine, you're like, ah, damn it, we can't do anything because Russia's got nuclear bombs, so we have to kind of ask them nicely to stop attacking. Just send a single Boeing with a couple of South Africans in it, and within 2 weeks, the entire Russian army has been stolen. All of their tanks have been stripped, all of their copper stolen. All of their roads gone, too. With such speed of demolition? Yep. Unironically, these people are world-renowned thieves. If you've ever watched Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther, you will realize in that storyline there is a single person who was able to break into Wakanda and steal their vibranium, and he was a South African. Literally, Age of Ultron takes place in Joburg in South Africa. And the guy who got the vibranium for Ultron stole it out of Wakanda because he was South African. And he was the only guy who could do it. That's how world-renowned we are. Even Marvel knows this. Not my coppers, don't touch. It might be too late. Crude but effective? Very much so. Can't escape the allegations of the copper thieves. But yeah. Whew, that was funny. Okay, let me close this off. Let me see if I can boot this game real quick. Oh yeah, hydrate, redeem. Let me quickly pop that open. Some good coffee. Some Jacobs too. Wait, why am I not in the middle? Let me put myself in the middle real quick. Beep. You know what? That's close enough. Do not redeem, sir! I will redeem your coppers, and there's nothing you can do about it. By the way, the most famous and widely consumed tea in South Africa is actually something called rooibos tea. And for those of you who don't know what rooibos is, it means red bush when translated directly. And it is a very delicious tea that we love down here. The real question is, are the thieves boer or black? You already know the answer to this question, and I don't want to say it, but we all know it. I will launch a strike at you. Before the strike lands, it will be stripped of all its metal parts and sold. You'll be like, yeah, we're gonna launch a nuclear bomb at you. The Tsar bomber is incoming. It flies. The moment it gets over South African airspace, it's stripped for parts before it even blows. Really big tea in Sweden? Wait, Sweden drinks rooibos? That's interesting, I didn't know that. But anyways, I recently found out that rooibos tea contains high amounts of copper. And that's probably what gives it, its red bush coloring. And that's why South Africans love it, because it's rich in copper. It all makes sense. We just love our coppers. Like, for those of you guys who've been watching my channel for a while know that my power usually goes out in the middle of stream because someone stole the copper wires outside, cutting off electricity to the entire suburb. Crazy stuff happens down here. It's, damn, yep. This is literally a PvP server down here. Ooh, excuse me. The world's first liquid Wi-Fi will be born in South Africa. It will be born here, and it will be stolen here. It's just a simple fact of life at this point. That, I recently discovered what word means, and I completely forgot what it means. Bro, I'm crying the second you answer my question. I got an ad with orangutans. Oh, you just happened to get an ad about monkeys. What are the odds, boys? What are the odds? But yeah, this is largely due to just the severe corruption that happens in this country. It's criminal. But I feel like most of the average people you meet on the ground, in everyday life, they're actually pretty chilled.